Hey everybody, Tony D with a screenwriter's take on Pig, the Nicolas Cage movie. Little Joan's on the couch, so I'm going to do this one solo because Little Joan is, I don't know, she's full of meat. She's full of meat and full of pep and vinegar, and she's not listening to me today. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. That's the Pineys books 1 through 7. Pig. Now, this movie came out just this last year. It's about a chef who, an ex-chef, who lives in the woods with his truffle pig, collecting truffles for the Portland area restaurants. Until one day, the pig is stolen from him, and he's basically mugged for the pig. And he's forced to go back into the world of high dining that he left behind years ago. And this is sort of a character portrait of him and that world, that sort of ruthless world of fine dining and how phony and horrible it is. And there's some really great moments in the movie with the various characters, insight into that world and how truffles play a part in it. This, of course, is my non-spoiler review, and then we'll get into a spoiler review where I'll break down every act. His contact in this world is a young guy named Rob, or rather, his name is Rob, and it's a young guy who buys the truffles from him and sells them to the high-end restaurants. And he's got a pretty good hustle, and it keeps Nicolas Cage and his pig happy until the pig is kidnapped. And there's some great scenes where he uses cooking. He's not typical Nicolas Cage. He is very much this chef character who uses cooking to communicate and say profound things with his food. And it's really the idea of a chef as an artist. And it's a pretty good movie. It's very slow paced. So if you're looking for an action-packed, non-stop roller coaster, this is not that kind of movie. This is very much a slow character portrait where you get to know him, and that's about it, really. And it's only 90 minutes long. It's very slow paced. Story by Vanessa Block and Michael Sarnonsky, written and directed by Michael Sarnonsky. And Cage does very well in the role. Very realistic in the role. He comes across as that crazy artist type. Okay, so that concludes my non-spoiler review. Let me get into the spoilers. So if you want to see this movie, it's on Amazon Prime. I'm sure it's elsewhere. It was only $3 to rent. So here's the spoiler review. First act, and they split the acts by like a menu, right? Each act has a little food thing on the front of it that he makes or is going to make in the movie or going to get. So the first act, of course, is he's living in the woods with the pig, having a great life, but he's happy. Him and the pig are happy. And then one day the pig is kidnapped. So he sets out to save the pig. And he hasn't been into town in years, so his car doesn't work, and he ends up calling the young guy to help him out. And the young guy doesn't know who he really is. So they start snooping around for the pig. And during the course of the second act, he is revealed to be this famous chef who went into hiding. A guy who changed the cuisine in Portland forever. And Alan Arkin is the big cheese in this town, who basically stole the pig, and you find that out in the third act. But the setup is that the kid remembers his father and his mother going to dinner at Nicolas's Cage's restaurant one night, and that's like the one night they didn't fight. They talked about that night for years after. And so there's this amazing scene where Nicolas Cage is trying to get his pig back. Alan won't give him the pig back, so they basically sneak into the house and make him that meal again. And when Alan eats the food, he starts crying. And then, because he remembers the food. And it's a great scene. It's a great scene. I think the whole movie's built around that scene, really. It's a little bit like Ratatouille in that respect. Ratatouille's like that, because at the end of the movie, he has the ratatouille, and it brings him back to that moment in his life when he was a kid. So, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I like Nicolas Cage. He doesn't, he doesn't do much in the movie. I feel the movie's kind of sad because of the way it ends, but it's an interesting character portrait of a guy who sort of reached the penultimate in his world and realized how terrible and fake it is, and then just left, and then just walked away on top. So yeah, it's probably something you only see in a movie, and that's what's kind of cool about it. So I like that the filmmakers explore that, because I don't know if there's any other place to explore it but in a movie, something like this, that sort of extreme of a guy so dedicated to the craft, he's remembers every meal he cooked. So that was Cage's superpower in this movie, and you can see that it doesn't really bring him any joy anymore. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I could relate to it somewhat. And the young guy discovering more about Cage as the movie progressed was interesting as well. And discovering something about himself. So, it's called Pig. I think it's totally worth watching. Check it out if you get a chance. And that's it for me, Tony D. Check out Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for the other two more based videos of today. And I'll see you in the next one.